coronary disease to develop. But right now, your arteries all look good. Okay. Again, though, it's going to be up to you to make sure that you can keep them that way by making sure you do the right things. Because
lay off of the food and crack.
Fast food is the culprit of most of coronary artery disease, and I think so. And smoking, alcohol, all the bad stuff. Stay away from all of that, okay?
But no blockage at this point?
No blockages at this point. Everything looked wide open with regards to his right side of his heart and the left side of the heart. So both look very good. Again, we can't say in the future, but for right now, everything is good. No need for any stents, and everything looks good from our standpoint. Now, he does have that, I think a regular rhythm is what, now, I'm going to let the cardiology team sort of take over from that. From a cath standpoint, everything looks good, arteries look fine. I know he's going to need certain medications and certain things because of his irregular rhythm. And the cardiology team will address that with you guys. You're going to need to be on a blood thinner called Coumadin, most likely. It thins out the blood. It's designed for people who have the atrial fibrillation and coming in with possible TIA, or what we call a stroke. All this is just meaning that your heart's just not beating the way it should be. Your arteries are all good, but the heart, the way that it's beating, the electricity in your heart it's a little bit different than normal. And that difference makes it more likely to have a stroke. Exactly. So, and that's what, but the new thing is that you had that possible stroke. That's the reason why your risk then goes up drastically, and that's the reason why they want to put you on a blood thinner. But that's going to be up to your team. Again, separating this out, the coronary to artery disease, which is what we're sort of following you while we did the procedure, we didn't see anything. So, and they'll let you, other than just lying flat for 4 hours, or lying like this for the next couple hours, you can get up after that and do fine, okay?
And go home tomorrow?
That's going to be up to that team.
I'm thinking that.
And honestly, though, you're absolutely right. There's a good chance he will be going home tomorrow. But the things that you're going to have to be careful about is that he'll have to give himself injections, because until his Coumadin comes up to where it needs to be for his blood thinner, he most likely will have to be on a different medication to get his blood thinned enough. But that's going to be up to the cardiology team. Okay.
So
sorry, you put me a little bit on the spot, because I was like, I don't want to,
No, I know. If you can't answer it, just tell me. You'd rather not answer that, because
exactly.
I don't know where you stop.
Yeah, exactly. Because there is a certain part where we do over here, and it doesn't work over there.
Now, how could he have a heart attack with a minor with no blockage?
You can still have a heart attack with no blockage when, say that what we look at is the diameter of the vessel. So right now, all the hoses look good in his heart. But what can happen is you can have a plaque, which is just a little buildup that's undetectable, that we can't see, and that plaque can rupture, and it'd be sort of like a little cholesterol right here that ruptures, that causes this whole area to suddenly collapse. And that it does occur, but it's not something that we worry about. And there's nothing that we can really do but to say, diet, exercise, do the right things to try to prevent that little plaque from developing so that it doesn't develop and rupture. But right now, there's nothing more from an interventional standpoint that we can do to prevent that in the future, though. Diet, exercise, all the good things. And so, but that's the risk is the same for you with regards to that as him, or you, or even me. So it's just good advice to say we should be staying away from stuff that's going to try to hurt our chances of doing well in the future.
Okay. And another thing,
we're from Lake Charles, so we're going to be my doctors are in Lake Charles.
yeah, but they don't have no part.
They need to get a copy of all this stuff. So before you leave here, you can ask for them to give you a copy, which would be extremely helpful for your physicians there to show a copy of your cath report, so that they can see, okay, hey, there's no blockages here that we see, and so then they can feel as comfortable as we do. Right. It means you don't have to be on Plavix. It means you don't have to. They're gonna talk to you about aspirin and Coumadin and all this stuff.
Well,
but that's
how long I got to be on that?
life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So basically right now the only medication would be the blood thinner.
Blood thinner from a cardiology standpoint, again, there's other things that go into that. For example, what is his cholesterol level, do they need to put him on a statin? Just because anybody else, say that your cholesterol is high, you go on a medication. So there's other stuff besides, but from a calf standpoint, nothing more from a cardiology calf standpoint. So, but they need to look at all of his targets, his goal targets for his cholesterol, his blood pressure. Looking at his blood pressure right now, though, everything's looking pretty good. So,
it's down.
128 over 89. So,
Well, it kind of got a little stress off.
Yeah.
But the main thing is blood pressure control is a big thing to help the heart out. So that's the reason why. So there will be other medications.
Yeah.
I don't want it to just mislead you and say Coumadin is the only medication
No,
he's going to need.
because he does
But-
have high blood pressure.
Yeah, so there'll be blood pressure medications. They'll check his cholesterol. There might be cholesterol medications. The other things are, but you're right, the big one that's going to be the new one that I feel that your team is going to want to start. Now, that's not even from a calf standpoint. That's just from a cardiology standpoint, from the way that his heart is irregular pumping, because the chance of a stroke from that is higher, and they want to prevent that risk. And you go from, it depends on what you have: high blood pressure, you have the prior possible TIA. Your risk is about, you don't have diabetes, right? How old are you again? 64. So right now, your risk of having a stroke with this irregular rhythm is about 4%. With Coumadin, it drops it down to about 2%, and that's every year. So you have about a 4% chance every year of having a stroke without Coumadin, and it drops it in half to about 2% each year. Okay?
I can live my normal life with the
Absolutely.
And another thing, maybe one of the docs said he had many strokes. Did he?
We don't know. That's going to be something that we won't actually know, because until a neurologist or he gets an MRI, different things like that. That from a CT, he hasn't only had a CT head. So all I can comment on that is that there didn't see any bleeding in his head. The only reason why I know that is because for me to do my procedure, I have to make sure that they don't have any blood in their brain, or because I'm giving a blood thinner during the procedure. But I can't tell you if the strokes are, if he's had multiple strokes, or if that's, I just know that he's at higher risk of having that from his irregular rhythm.
Are you all going to do an MRI for this here?
That, I'm going to have to divert that to your primary team, the cardiology team.
And one thing, we don't have no insurance for all his medicine.
The good
So
news is,
what do we do with all this medicine? Is it going to be expensive?
the good news is Coumadin is actually very cheap, and all the medications so far will be reasonable medications. But please tell the team, your cardiology team, in the morning, hey, I don't have insurance, so that they can give you prescriptions for generics and for cheaper medication, okay? Yeah, or something like that. They can have, we have a social worker that come and talk to you, and they can, but they need to be aware of that. So please tell them that, so that they can come and have people and get you all squared away, okay? Before you leave.